speaking of private-public partnerships, what has been in the discussions or even incorporated into your master plan opportunities for our businesses out in the community so that they can partake in this buildup of capacity over at the Port Authority of Guam?
Anita, there's a couple of opportunities that just sort of come to mind. In our master plan, for example, we have about 42 acres of industrial park property that we're looking to partner with somebody to help us develop that, kind of along the same lines as Carlos is doing with the airport. And additionally, the $200 million that we're looking to modernize our port, within the Federal Maritime Administration, as I said, they're looking to engage a project management team. The requirements for the project management team is that if they don't have the capacity to actually do the work, then to solicit the work outside of our, and to look for local participation that actually gives them a higher ranking as we make contract awards.
Okay. Thank you. Now, any of you can answer to this. What kinds of local policies or federal policies ought to be considered to effectuate some of the initiatives that you have already rolling out the pike? This can be addressed either to our local legislators or perhaps be channeled through our congressional representative to federal agencies. Anyone want to take a stab at this?
If I may, just appreciate that question. I spoke about partnership with private sector. The companies that we reach out to are companies that are going to be required to invest and reinvest in the millions. And that require not only a cost recovery, but a return of investment on the dollars they spent and a reasonable time to make reasonable profit. And some of our constraints in entering in arrangements like that has to do with legislations that actually prohibit having the ability to engage in more than 5 years, for example, of exclusive arrangement. One area that I'm talking about is the fuel tank and the refueling of aircraft. To maintain, operate and maintain this facility, you would have to spend millions of dollars to keep it going, from leak detection to certification, repairs and maintenance of the fuel tank farm and what have you. And in outsourcing it and engaging a private firm to do this that is qualified and has the money to invest, do expect longer term, in most cases, at least a minimum of 10 years. And so that's kind of a discussion that we're having with our oversight chair, Senator Tina Barnes, to see if she can help us loosen up that a little bit, instead of 5 down to a minimum of 10 years, where we can make it attractive and have companies that are really have the expertise and the needed resources to provide that service that is so critical to aviation in this case.
Okay.
You know, Anita, the tourism industry in island communities, whether it's Guam or any other island, is very dependent on fossil fuel. And the carbon footprint is almost like, I mean, it's like a double whammy, because first of all of our energy locally is produced with fossil fuel. On the other hand, all our visitors coming to Guam arrive by aircraft, which burns fossil fuel. So a real robust local energy policy to address this real dilemma, not just for the tourism industry, but for the consumers of Guam, really is needed. How can we develop a very robust local policy that would help desensitize us to fossil fuel in terms of our future? And that really is one of the bedrocks, I think, in terms of sustainability of our economy.
Okay. Mike?
What I'd like to see done with the legislation is to mandate some sort of mandatory teaming agreement with large contractors coming in here on a set value of contract, say over $50 million in contract, that a certain amount of their contract dollars should go back into Guam, into 3 badly needed areas. One of them be our healthcare, our hospital, et cetera. The other one be in our infrastructure, and the other one be in our education. When I got here 30 years ago, Guam was Quonset Huts, the UOG was Quonset Huts, GCC was Votech. It's grown to be a state-of-the-art class action university and Guam Community College. If we could somehow infuse some millions into our education system, both the university's higher education and the lower levels, and also put some money into our hospitals and our infrastructure with the use of these large prime contractors that are coming out here to do this work, I think that would be a marriage again. Once again, I'm going back to the same phrase, one team, no seam. If we can tell these people, welcome, come to our island, make money, but at the same time, take your profits and share them with the people that are allowing you to be guests on their island. Give us the opportunity to get some of that money back that you're going to be taking out of these contracts, put it back into our island, into the education system, into the health system. Help us fix our island. That's what I'd like to ask for these people, and I'd like to see our legislators somehow implement something along with the work with NAVFAC to say, listen, folks, you're out here as guests to these people of Guam. We are bringing you in here to build our island and make it a better place, but at the same time, take that revenue that you're generating and not take it all off island and put it in the pockets of rich board of directors somewhere else. Leave some of it here. Use it on island to help us bring us back to where we should be.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you. I want to thank the members of my panel. Thank you so much for tolerating the questions, and I know that we'd like to open at least one opportunity for a question. I also want to tell the members of the audience, you do have an opportunity to write your questions so that we can direct them to the panel and they can get back to you. We would like to make those questions available to them, and we'll be collecting those questions that we don't get to. So just one question. Otherwise, we break for lunch. Nope. The gentleman, oh yes, Dr. Mayer.
Yeah. Okay.
It's on.
There's one thing that the local government can do to encourage subcontracting. As background, a number of years ago, we had no wholesaling, essentially none. Exempting wholesaling from the gross receipt tax allowed this business to flourish. The similar thing should be done for services sold from one business to another. That would help.
Okay. Comment? Oh.
I'd love to make a comment on that.
Thank you, Dr. Mayer.
If I had my way in this government right now, I would abolish the 4% gross receipt tax and go right to a point of sale. Immediately, then you get all the taxes from everybody. You stop the snowballing effect that contractors and other wholesalers use, because sometimes you take that 4% and somebody will 4% it and 4% it and 4% it. You're ending up paying 16% tax on what you use. If we can go to a point of sale tax where your taxes are collected at the register, nobody gets away from it, it's done right then and there. Talk to your legislators. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our panel. Thank you so much, Mr. Ady, Mr. Paris, Mr. Salas, Mr. Leon Guerrero, Mr. Lujan, and Mr. Sampson. And let me turn it over to Luis.